Yes. Welcome, everyone, to our Member Monday Spotlight. This is where we take the members of our LEAP community. We bring them forward on our platform because that's what the LEAP community is about. We are about spotlighting our members so that their brand can be seen and be heard and be visible to everyone, because we all know the number one rule in business is you have to tell everybody about you. And today, our guest is Marelda Rodrigues, and she is going to be telling everybody about her today and why she is the expert. Marelda Rodrigues, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Colleen. Always great to be with you.
Yes, I love talking with you. I love having you in my circle. Let's talk about grief, because you and I have had a lot of conversations around this, and you are the expert in this, and you have educated me so much around the subject of grief. I've always really thought of grief as losing somebody and someone dying around me. And that's, people grieve through that process. But grief is so much more than that. And you've taken a vision that you've gotten, and you have applied that to so many people's lives that help them transform through this. So let's let our listeners learn a little bit more about who you are, why you do this, and how you work with people, and how people like me can identify and really understand what grief is and why it's so important for us to identify that and work through that.
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So grief is very plainly put, it's an emotion. It's just like, it's one of our many emotions as humans, whether it's anger or happiness or, anything else, rage. All of these are emotions, and grief is just one of them. But I think what happens is, because it's associated with so much pain, however that pain comes to be, as humans, we avoid pain. We're just wired to avoid pain. I mean, have you ever found yourself saying, I just want to put my hand on the burner, let's do it? Right? So humans
That's
just want to
true.
avoid pain. And we learn at a very young age on many levels what that pain means. So for a baby, pain may mean that you took their bottle away in their realm of understanding. If you were to talk to a 6-year-old, maybe you took away their, you grounded them, or you had some sort of something removed. There's a loss, right? So they have that emotion. They're sad, they're disappointed, whatever. And this is a very normal thing. It's just that as we grow older, we learn more about how we attach to something. And it is all based on how we attach and how that attachment is broken. So if we are so attached, for example, to our house, and it's like, I have my favorite corner in my house, it has a beautiful fireplace, I love having my friends over, and then it gets caught up in some forest fire, right? And my house burns down. Now I'm struggling with that loss. Now, what happens when we lose something, what a lot of people don't understand is, we have many identities. And we have an identity as a parent, we have an identity as a teacher, we have an identity as a daughter or son. And so we have an identity. When you layer on grief, or you take a situation of loss, whether you've experienced loss or not before, every loss situation is different. So now you step into a new identity of griever. And that identity is not the same for everybody in any way, even if it's your twin. Because our environment, our education, our experience, our daily exposures create these other layers of the identity. And so this is, I feel, one of the biggest reasons why, when we start trying to find solutions, if you give people like blanket one size fits all, some people are successful, other people are just miserable, and other people just sink further down. And so, like anything else, it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It has to be just right. And just right is a trial and error thing, which when you have a painful situation, nobody wants to hear that. People are just like, tell me how to make this pain go away. Right. But so this is one of the main reasons why I try to get people to understand, where does grief really live?
Yeah. Yeah.
And grief lives in the body. Like when you've ever gotten bad news, it's you're taking in the information, but the first thing you're feeling is your heart sinking.
Mhm.
Or the first thing you're feeling is a suffocation, like you can't breathe. And this is how people express it. So the thing is, it's in your body first. And the more we think about the scenario of loss, the more we tend to feel it over and over and over again. And as humans, one of the things we have that most animals, well, actually animals don't have, is recall. Animals can be conditioned, like with the bell and the dog, right? So we have Pavlov's dogs. So animals can be conditioned, but your dog doesn't remember what you wore yesterday.
Mhm.
Your dog doesn't remember what you gave it for dinner yesterday. They just want the food. Just give me the food in my bowl. I'm happy. So humans, on the other hand, are like, I had a salad yesterday. I don't want another one today. So there's that recall that we have. So the more we recall, it's not a bad thing to recall if it's productive.
Ah, but you could recall and bring up grief. You could recall and bring up trauma, and that is going to cause pain in our body. So I guess we should ask the question to anyone out there listening: are you struggling with pain in your body? And one of the areas that I hear the most, and because you're a massage therapist, Marelda, one of the pains that I hear the most, I'm sure you hear too, is like lower back pain. Right? What do you equate to people that come to you that have specific pains in their body that they're dealing with that they can't seem to get rid of?
Yeah. So I'm just going to step back for a second and let people
Yeah.
know that I am a massage therapist. I've been one for a very long time, and a functional medicine health coach. And I've taken both of those very loved careers and brought them to the niche of grief. Now, when someone comes to me with back pain, actually, I have an emotional pain chart, just like a muscle pain chart, just like a skeletal chart
Yeah.
that you may see at your massage therapist or doctor's office. I have an emotional pain chart. So I will definitely ask about people's injuries. I will definitely ask about, any surgeries or other, did you bend incorrectly, or, what was their movement or something that instigated this. But then if it's not jiving in my head, I'm going to look at the emotional pain chart, and it has
Mm.
very rarely served me wrong. Generally speaking, it speaks to not feeling supported. So sometimes I'll just ask somebody, hey, do you feel like you're supported enough? Or do you feel like you have someone to talk to? And oftentimes they'll say something that speaks to not feeling supported. And I find that so interesting.
Mm.
The correlation. The other correlation, for example, very similarly, when people are feeling really stressed out, they'll say, oh my God, my shoulders really hurt. And they'll attribute it to the computer. They'll attribute it to, oh, I've been driving a lot or texting, and, I don't get to move my neck. But emotionally speaking, the pain chart tells me that they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Hmm.
So I do look at things from from multiple perspectives,
Yeah.
because I don't really want to say, okay, well, here you broke your, so and so bone, and that's really why it's coming back. And what I'm finding is that in massage school, we're taught a lot about the physical structures. We're taught about movement. We're taught about, for stress, someone will come in, but oftentimes, because it seems to kind of veer off in the path of talk therapy,
Hmm.
we're not even taught to ask the person how they're feeling. And if the person says, oh, I'm just really feeling sad today, then massage therapists tend to go, oh, okay, that's, talk therapy. I don't do that. And let me just, So what I've started doing is teaching people that it's actually another dimension of the same human that you're
Yeah.
working with. And so some of it can be, resolved through grief massage, but I know that I'm still trying to make it commonplace to have grief massage as the first thing people go to help their bodies where grief is living.
Yeah.
The next best thing is to just get a basic massage. Like, just go, it has to be kind of on the light side. So you're not going to get that, elbow in the back and all that good stuff. That's just not what the body needs at the moment. That's
Hmm.
going to put fight or flight into overdrive. So we need something that's a little more calming, kind of like if I'm sitting next to you and you're sad, I might just rub your back.
Hmm.
It's okay, Colleen, you'll be
It's
fine.
comforting.
It's
Yeah.
comforting. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what grief massage is really designed to do.
Well,
Uh,
you do more than just massages. You talked about educating on health. So fill us in on how you educate on health.
yeah. So the other areas that comprise grief wellness, one is body work, which we just talked about. The
Yeah.
other areas are nutrition, sleep, movement, and connection. Now, in order to do all of these pieces, there is a way that grief works. We can't just like jump into, this is not like let me see what's in the toolbox, or let me see what I got, or what do I feel like. The
Hmm.
body's very, very smart. It knows how to survive, and it has a sequence it goes through. So
Yep.
when grief happens, it's feeling unsafe. So the first step we have to do is start to do things that feel safe. The next step is to do things, once we feel safe, is to get the support. And that is when we start to look at the nutrition and the sleep and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then the last part is connection, where we go out into the community and we say, okay, I'm okay to join a group and have a chat, or meet my friend for a meal or something like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that self-support part is the nutrition, sleep, movement, and just being able to talk to someone close to you so you feel like you're not alone.
Right.
And that nutrition is really important, because when you're grieving, you do lose your appetite.
Yeah.
You're not in a position to have this big meal, but you do need the nutrients in order to manage the grief. So teaching people how to create a food plan that supports grief when you don't
Hmm.
have appetite, how to support sleep when sleep seems to be elusive,
Hmm. Yeah.
how to stop that monkey mind.
Yeah. I'm glad you're bringing all this up, because I'm sure there are people that are watching, that are listening, and they're thinking to themselves, I do have pains in my body I can't get rid of, or I have suffered with grief, or I think I am suffering with grief. I'm not sure what's happening, right? I feel like I need someone to talk to. I feel like that if I just focused on it, that I would be able to move it through. And we tend to avoid it. Like you said, we avoid putting our hand on the hot stove. We avoid pain, but focusing and being able to work through it is the only way to be able to get on the other side of it. So, Marelda, I know you have a YouTube channel. Tell us about your YouTube channel and what you promote on there, and why someone would want to subscribe.
On the YouTube channel, I do put, so I've gotten a lot of questions, because grief massage, what is grief massage, is the most common question. And as I've taught my classes and I've been able to articulate more to students, I do come back and I put new information, or I continue to get new information from people, new questions. And
Thank you.
sometimes it's not about what people are asking me, but what they should be asking me,
Got it.
that they don't know that they don't know they don't know. So
Right.
I'm putting these in questions in small episodes. I try to keep everything to a limit of 10 minutes. Sometimes it may go a little longer if I'm teaching something, but I really try to limit it to a small, manageable piece. What it also does is, sometimes if the information seems either overwhelming or too much in one sitting, the
Yeah.
beauty of YouTube is you can always go back and watch it as many times. And this is, so it's really why I started, so that
Yeah.
people could do it at their pace, whatever time of day they want, however many times they can share it. They can do a lot of things with it out there.
That's great. And then you have a website, mareldarodrigues.com. And going to this website, is that a good way for them to connect with you? If someone's listening to this show and they want to connect with you, we'll make sure we have all these links put in the comments section for all of you. But is that the best way for them to connect, learn more about you, and schedule a call with you?
Yes, that is. It is also a great place to find to send me information if maybe you want a workshop maybe in your community,
Oh,
if
okay.
it's happened. I have people that will approach me and they'll say, hey, I need you to be a speaker at this, or I need you to help me with a workshop here, or whatever. So it's also for inquiries if somebody
Good.
needs it, but it's also for personal assistance.
Wonderful. Well, Marelda, thank you so much for joining us today. I love being friends with you. I think you are so brilliant in so many areas. So, for all of you watching today and listening, go subscribe to her YouTube channel so you can be on the latest of what's happening. She's in the Chicago area in Illinois. So, if you're locally there, you can have a physical massage from Marelda. If you're not local, you can still connect with her on YouTube to learn more. You can connect with her on her website. You can find out more about her. Then she can bring, like she says, workshops and speaking to your communities, or maybe it's just for you and you need to work through some grief that you're going through. So, Marelda, we're so thankful that you were here today. Thank you for sharing your information with the community so many more ladies and gentlemen out there can learn how to not avoid pain, but to work through what we need to work through so we fully can live our freest life. It's about setting ourselves free.
And
Yeah.
finding meaning,
And
finding meaning.
finding meaning. I love that. Thank you, Marelda. All right, everyone. We will be back next week. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your week.